2010, Ricky and Steve decided to write and direct their own film that no one's seen. It's called Cemetery Junction, and it's a film about a boy who lives in Reading who gets up to mischief with his friends and works at a factory and then wants more out of life, so starts working for Voldemort to sell life insurance, but then wants more out of life, so he gets on a train and goes to France or Norway or something with Felicity Jones, and it took me 3 weeks to finish this film. This film has a weird contrasting feeling of being both a passion project from Ricky and Steve, but also a project they didn't really care that much about. I really don't know what possessed them to make this. It's not very funny, and even when attempting to be funny, it doesn't fit with Ricky and Steve's usual comedy at all. It's really just a basic coming-of-age story. There's not really anything that makes it stand out. Someone out there might enjoy it. You know, the acting isn't bad, the writing's pretty good, the soundtrack's nice. The film's set in the 70s, so it uses a lot of Bowie and Elton and Springsteen. The directing's serviceable until it's not. I mean, what was that? That was so silly. That was so silly. But yeah, watch it. Don't watch it. I don't know why it was made, and I'd like to move on now. D. It gets the D. One year later, Ricky and Steve return to give us the last sitcom they'll write together for the foreseeable future, and it's called Life's Too Short, a mockumentary following the current career of Warwick Davis, a dwarf actor known for his roles in Star Wars and the Harry Potter films. The show ran for 1 season, 7 episodes, and 1 special in 2013. I remember really loving this show as a kid. It felt like the classic Ricky and Steve dry humour with the added benefit of watching Warwick Davis fall over a lot.
Warwick.
But after rewatching it, it definitely has its problems. But I'll start on a positive note. The celebrity cameos in this show are pretty funny for the most part, even if it does feel like a cheap gimmick here, contrary to when Extras did it. But they still make for some of the most entertaining parts. With Extras, the celebrities were clearly playing specific characters, with only a small sliver of themselves in the role. But here, I don't know if it's because the celebrities used are just really great actors, or if it's the mockumentary style, but they almost feel too real sometimes. Like the things they're saying and doing is obviously made up by Ricky and Steve, but they all play it off so well, it's sometimes hard to tell if there was actually any animosity between the actors.
Sorry, have I done something to offend you?
What do you mean, like trashing me in front of like 200 million people? At the Golden Globes?
It was a while ago. They were jokes, Johnny.
In episode 3, Warwick gets a role on a Helena Bonham Carter film, but when he gets there, he realises he's only there to substitute a child actor for the reverse shots, and to be Helena's eyeline for the scene. But what this whole interaction ends up being is just Helena's so creeped out by Warwick that she can't even perform the scene. It actually starts to get quite uncomfortable to watch.
And I must be a brave man, for all I feel
I'm
is...
sorry, I can't.
Cut.
Yeah, I can't have his face staring at me either.
It?
Can we lose the face?
What do you mean, lose the face?
Can we cover up the face, please?
It's Fairfax, I'm scared.
I'm sorry.
Cut. What's the
he's
problem?
Well, he's sneaking around back there. I mean, I don't know what he's doing. Yeah, I mean, he could be doing anything, weeing or anything. And what are they...
Okay, let's put the midget in the bin.
Hang on a minute. No, I'm not going in the bin. It's ridiculous.
Oh, really? You want to get paid?
I'm sorry.
Cut.
He's peering, he's staring out at me while I'm doing the scene.
Oh, we just...
I think I've had enough.
Okay.
And I know
We'll
what I can take.
We'll get rid of it. I'm sorry. Oh, shit, I'm sorry. It's okay.
Okay, that's lunch, folks.
And I don't know if this uncomfortability is a detriment to the series or not. It's not the same kind of uncomfortable feeling you get with The Office or Extras. It's just kind of sad and weird. But then, in a way, these moments are probably the most interesting parts of the show. Also similar to Extras, they really play into the lack of glamour the industry can have sometimes. The running joke throughout the series is that no one knows Warwick Davis.
It's mistakes like that is why I'm still at this channel. Been here 3 years, still doing shitty little interviews with nobodies. Let's go again. What's his name again?
Warwick Davis.
And even though there is some truth to that, they really play it up to a hilarious degree.
On the real talk, let me break it down for you, yeah? No one knows you. What films you been in?
Have you seen Return of the Jedi?
Who was you in that?
It was an Ewok.
Those little bears?
Not little bears. Have you seen Willow?
No.
One of my biggest problems with Life's Too Short, though, unfortunately, is Warwick Davis. Or at least the version of himself he plays in this. In real life, he's a lovely little guy. He's a good actor.
I'm so bad, I'm good. Oh, I'll show you what to do, so lend an ear.
And he was great in the Willow reboot. Just kidding, I didn't see it. But he plays a character in Life's Too Short, similar to a less subtle version of David Brent, but with none of the redeeming qualities.
Don't know what part of that you're not understanding.
Right, calm down. Showing off.
Ooh, you're hard showing off.
He's unlikable and manipulative and greedy and full of himself, and I don't like him. They somewhat rectify this in this special. They just kind of change his entire character off screen, which to me seemed like a last-ditch effort to get more eyes onto this show to maybe commission another season, but unfortunately no dice.
And I used to be a lying, conniving, selfish little shit.
But that change does significantly improve the show. That 1 hour long episode is probably the best one out of all of them because Warwick isn't being an annoying cunt. Also, there's a couple side characters in this and I don't really like any of them. Warwick's wife, who's filing for divorce, and her lawyer are okay. They kind of just play it very straight, not a lot of comedic moments linked to them. But then you have Warwick's assistant, who is so dumb. I mean, that's her character, she's dumb. To a ridiculous degree. Not even a funny dumb, it's more of just a frustrating dumbness where she can't do anything. And her voice is grating.
From his username, I found his YouTube channel, and from his YouTube channel, we've linked to my
Yeah, okay.
And then you have Warwick's accountant, who I hate. He's incompetent and mean and stupid, and again, not in a funny way. If you want your comedic character to be mean or dumb or manipulative or incompetent, you also need some sort of redeeming quality to them. Something that explains and humanizes them. Are they dumb but caring? Are they mean but insecure? Are they manipulative but intelligent? They need something to them, but this man has nothing. The majority of the show, when there aren't celebrities involved, kind of just feels like someone doing their best impression of Ricky and Steve's writing. The awkward public humiliation is there, but it feels kind of played out. There's only so many times I can watch Warwick in a public setting say something out there or inappropriate, realise he's done so, and then for absolutely no reason just start digging himself deeper and deeper into a hole. And as soon as you're 5 minutes into one of these scenes, it just starts to get kind of eye-rolling rather than cringeworthy, which I'm guessing was the desired effect.
Now, traditionally, the best man's speech is when you make the groom feel uncomfortable for 5 minutes, which is exactly what Nigel does to Emma in bed. He makes her feel uncomfortable because he's not very good in bed. Not uncomfortable because he's making her do something she doesn't want to do, like forcing her to do anal.
Before you know it, you've only swapped bloody phone numbers and a meeting for a drink on Friday.
Are these condoms all right for you? You sure they'll fit? Because it's one size fits all.
Yeah, don't worry about it. No, they're not for you. Well, I mean, they could be, but they're for anyone. So, not anyone. Would never presume, obviously. And you've got to be careful. It's better to be safe because, you know, there's all sorts of diseases. Not that I've got. I'm clean. But I don't know about... But no, that's not what I'm saying. You know, we all get stressed about it and I'm...
Shut the fuck up! Overall though, it's not an awful show. Definitely not Ricky and Steve's best, but there are still some standout moments. B tier. Better than The Invention of Lying, but not as good as Extras. Let's move on.
Thank you. Shush. Shut up. You disgusting, pill-popping, sexual deviant scum.
Next, I want to focus on what I believe makes Ricky, Ricky. His stand-ups and Golden Globe speeches, especially the Golden Globes. That's what propelled his career up past English comedy writer to the comedian's comedian. I'll start with his stand-ups and then I'll move on to the cream de la cream. So far, Ricky's done 7 stand-up specials, with one more coming to Netflix very soon. This is where I think Ricky strives best, giving himself a platform to just spew all his ideas and beliefs with some jokes laid in there to an audience he's accumulated. Back when one of his more recent specials came out, I remember him saying in an interview, "This is my best one yet." And his stand-up routines throughout the years have definitely got more polished. He's got the routine down to a T nowadays, but weirdly, I actually prefer his older stand-ups. Science probably being my favourite out of all of them, which came out in 2010. But I wasn't sure what the reason for this was. Why Ricky's stand-ups were getting less and less enjoyable to me as time went on. But then I saw an interview when Humanity came out that explained why this is.
It's less persona than my first 4.
Right.
You know, all comedians have a bit of a persona, even if it's just a slightly more confident, brasher version of themselves.
Sure.
But mine's less and less now. I think I've reached that age where I've got old people's rights, so I just say what's on my mind. And it's much more anecdotal, it's much more honest, it's much more about my past and everything.
And it's true. Back in the day, Ricky's stand-ups were almost shrouded in a thin fog of constant irony. He had a clear on-stage persona, not dissimilar to himself, but one that I feel commanded a better stage presence than Ricky with no altered persona. Whoa, hold your horses. Looks like you're stating a subjective opinion there, Stan. Can we keep these perspectives objective, please? The reason why I bring this up, as I keep hinting to, which I will expand on when I tackle this fucking box of worms, is that by this point in my life, I've oversaturated myself with Gervais. I've listened to like 20 hours of his XFM radio show from the early 2000s when I used to deliver Christmas meal adverts around my village when I was a child. I've watched almost every interview he's ever given. I've watched him debate Colbert and Dawkins and that one he did about God that looks like a Vogue interview. I've heard every single one of his points 100 times and it gets predictable. I enjoyed his last special enough, but almost every time he'd bring up a topic, I'd be saying the punchline in my head before he even gets there.
They go, what, you don't believe in God at all? I go, no. Do you pray? I go, no. Why don't you pray just in case there's a God? Well, someone said on Twitter once to me, why don't you pray just in case there's a God? And I say, why don't you put garlic over your door just in case there's a Dracula? Right? The duck-billed platypus. Scientists first found that. They thought it was a hoax because it produces eggs and milk. It could make its own custard. But it doesn't, but it could.
And this was a lot harder to do with his older specials because the character he was playing on stage made him more unpredictable. But even the punchlines that I haven't heard before, there are still some jokes in his latest special that just are pretty predictable.
So I riff, if I say something tonight that's so offensive, so off that you've never heard anything so fucking off the charts in your life, right? Go to the box office after the show, they can't give you money back straight away, but there's a form you fill out with a complaint.
He's gonna say that he wipes his arse on them.
And I take those away and I shit on them.
He poos on them. I didn't see that one coming. But whatever, I'm nitpicking, it doesn't matter. Because now I want to move on to the next part of Ricky's live performances. In 2010, Ricky was asked to host the Golden Globes. Little did he know he'd go on to do it 4 more times over the following years, and it would be the best thing ever. I'm going to be upfront, I don't like the Oscars.
For those of you watching around the world, it has been a tough couple of days for us here. It has been raining.
I don't like the Golden Globes, and the BAFTAs can go fuck themselves. Like almost everything ever created, something that starts off as a humble celebration of the hard work of someone in the film industry will sooner or later become corrupt and meaningless. Which is exactly what happened to these award shows over the years. And does the very fact that if I'm ever invited to one of these events I'd belly crawl over 6 miles of broken glass to attend make me a hypocrite? No. Point is, the only reason I tune into the Oscars or Golden Globes every year is to hope either there's another embarrassing car crash moment, or if Ricky Gervais is hosting. This man has openly, in front of the most beloved and powerful people in Hollywood, said Tom Cruise and John Travolta are closeted gay men. He said Joe Pesci looks like Baby Yoda, and Jeffrey Epstein is everyone in the room's friend. It's mental. Not only that he had the balls to say these things to their faces, but also that he was given the platform to do it 5 times. And Chris Rock makes one joke.
Thank God for Ricky Gervais going off Sunday night to let people know that you still got a voice, okay? We still got a voice.
Absolutely right, Joey Diaz. Thank God for Ricky Gervais. Watching 5 of these speeches has single-handedly made me rethink my perspective on so many actors. Leonardo DiCaprio.
Once upon a time in Hollywood, nearly 3 hours long, Leonardo DiCaprio attended the premiere, and by the end, his date was too old for him. So
he can take a joke, he's great. Helen Mirren.
Bridesmaids, one of my favourite comedies of the year, yeah. Girls finally proved that they can be as raunchy as the men. Farting, burping, cursing, performing wild sex acts, even pooping in the sink. I actually heard for research the cast spent the weekend with Dame Helen Mirren. She's dreadful. Honestly, you don't see a lot of it because she's got good PR, but she's off the rails.
Cool as a cucumber. Jonathan Pryce.
Big year for paedophile movies. Surviving R. Kelly, Leaving Neverland, 2 Popes. Shut up. I don't care.
Take that stick out your arse, man. Boring, sour old penis. This one reaction shot from Tom Hanks that everyone has seen has now made me dislike him. And against my own will. You know, Big, Forrest Gump, that Castaway, I loved you, Tom, and now Ricky Gervais has made me despise you to the core. You didn't even do anything. Out of everything Ricky Gervais has ever done, these 5 speeches are probably my favourite. He's truly a comedian of the people. He didn't try and cater to the 100-odd Hollywood celebrities sitting in front of him that night. He spoke for the millions of us watching from home, and he's a beautiful man. S tier. Goodbye. Mwah.